Nairobi residents are informed the 3 main roads will be closed from tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the duration of the conference this week. These are Parliament Road, Harambee Avenue and City Hall Way, Taifa Road and Wabera Street. These roads will be closed for 5 days beginning tomorrow. So once again, Parliament Road, Harambee Avenue, City Hall Way, Taifa Road and Wabera Street will be closed from tomorrow morning, that is 6 a.m. for the duration of the conference that takes place here in Nairobi beginning Tuesday. So let's move on now. The Global Climate Summit in Paris forged a landmark agreement to stop global warming. The deal sets the course for a historic transformation of the world fuel-driven economy within decades.
4 years of United Nations talks, often pitting the interests of rich nations against poor, endangered island states against rising economic powerhouses, the French foreign minister declared the pact adopted to the standing applause and whistles of delegates from almost 200 nations.
L'accord de Paris pour le climat.
It is hailed as the first truly global climate deal. It commits both rich and poor nations to reining in rising emissions blamed for warming the planet. It sets out a sweeping long-term goal of eliminating man-made greenhouse gas output this century.
Markets now have the clear signal. They need to unleash the full force of human ingenuity and scale up investments that will generate low emissions, resilient growth.
You know, we've reached an agreement here that is the strongest, most ambitious global climate change agreement ever negotiated.
It also creates a system to encourage nations to step up voluntary domestic efforts to curb emissions and provides billions more dollars to help poor nations cope with the transition to a greener economy powered by renewable energy. For U.S. President Barack Obama, it is a legacy-defining accomplishment that represents the best chance that we have to save the one planet that we've got. The final agreement was essentially unchanged from a draft unveiled earlier, including a more ambitious objective of restraining the rise in temperature to well below 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels. A mark scientists fear could be a tipping point for the climate. Until now, the line was drawn only at 2 degrees. In some ways, its success was assured well before the summit began. 187 nations have submitted detailed plans for how they will contain the rise in greenhouse gas emissions, commitments that are the core of the Paris deal. 6 years after the previous climate summit in Copenhagen ended in failure and acrimony, the Paris Pact appears to have rebuilt much of the trust required for a concerted global effort to combat climate change. Ellen Wanjiru, KTN News.